It's important to recognize your strengths. Actually, it's interesting. I often say to people, what are your strengths? And they go, I said, what are your weaknesses? Oh, well, that's easy. Boom. And sometimes we need to take time out to really recognize what our strengths are. If you don't think for a moment that it's possible to follow your strengths, then one of the books I would recommend to you, I've also reviewed that on my website if you want to know what the title is and if you want to go back to it. Really interesting story about people who follow not their pension, but their passion. It is possible, and that book is a really excellent book to get a hold of and to read about people who have made it. And they never ever go in a straight line. We never go in a straight line to where we want to end up. I'm not a yachty, I don't know much about sailing, but one thing I do know, in order for you to get from one destination to another, you tack to your arrival point. Never in a straight line. We always zigzag to where we want to go. And that book shows how those people zigzag to where they want to go, in the same way that you zigzag to where you want to go. It's never in a straight line. Let me say to you that most people tend to live in survival, not in fulfillment. And as we go into a new year, we want to know how to live in fulfillment. So not only do we need to know our strengths and recognize our strengths and play to our strengths, whatever those strengths might be, but we also need to recognize our needs and play to our needs. Let me tell you, in case you didn't know, that you have 6 basic needs. In case you didn't know, you have 6 basic needs. And you need to follow those needs and understand those needs to really fulfill who you are as an individual. Let me tell you more about that. Yes, there are 6 of them. And we have to satisfy these needs in order to survive and thrive and live. And the staff around you need to satisfy these needs, or else what happens? They go. Exactly. They leave. Because if your needs are not satisfied, they will move on. So it's important to know not only what your needs are, and those of your family, and those who you love and care for, but those that you work with, and those who sit alongside you. It's important to know what their needs are. Irrespective of whether you're in HR, just connecting with people around you, you need to know what their needs are. And each need can be satisfied positively or negatively. Let me tell you, there are 4 basic needs for survival, and there are 2 in order to gain fulfillment. And most of us want to gain fulfillment. So, how do we fulfill those needs? Well, there are 4 areas in which we can play out those needs. We can play them out within ourselves. We can play it out within our family, certainly within our work, or certainly within our community. So you've got the scenario, 6 needs played out in 4 arenas. So, what's the first need? The first need is control and security. And as I said, we play each of these needs out in 4 areas. But what is this need of control and security? You know, folks, we all like control. We all like routine. We are creatures of habit, whether we like it or not. We don't like things to change too much. And here we are in a world full of it. Talk about heightening the stress levels. This is a basic need for survival. This need helps us to reduce our stress and increase our pleasure. It's a basic need. That's why we have diaries, PDAs, secretaries. That's why you have those things that help your life take on some meaning and substance and some certainty. Think about a time in your life when you're uncertain. For example, when you had a health problem, you or someone around you. How did you feel? Stressed. Why? Because you didn't have control. and security. Or you had a financial problem. Or there was a relationship issue. So this need is an important need. We love control and we love certainty. We don't like to be out of what we call the comfort zone. Now, if you want to push that to its max, and the negative side of that is something that we often see in offices called the control freak. Or we see someone who really likes to micromanage. That's the downside. I mean, the upside is really using your diary and your iCal or your Outlook or whatever it might be in order to cope with life and its busyness. But we all like control. But you know, if you have too much control and too much certainty and too much routine, life becomes what? Boring. And so the flip side of that need is another need. And it's called variety and difference. We need a bit of variety because variety is the spice of life. The spice of life. We need variety. We need things to change a bit. And that's why we need to move out of the comfort zone.